I first read the novel Adrift on the Nile by Neworld when it was first published in English. Was actually like the novel was originally written in the mid to late '60s. I was reading this story and going, oh my God, this is so specifically about my family's Egyptian, specifically about like my dad's generation. And yet, as I read it, I went, oh my God, it's all that, and at the same time, it feels to me to be also equally relevant and about here and now.
It's a group of friends who gather on a houseboat in Cairo, and they're from the socioeconomic status that we come from, and a lot of people in Vancouver that we know come from. And even though they have a lot of freedom and wealth and means to make things happen, theoretically they feel that they don't really have an effect on their environment, the world, their government, and they feel a sense of they're adrift, like the title Adrift on the Nile.
I was at my desk doing what I usually do, watching a cockroach climb the walls.
I play Anis. He's a civil servant who lost his wife and child many years ago in a car accident. And since that time, he's had this sort of dreary day job. And what he does is he hangs around this houseboat, mans the hookah, gets it going, gets the tobacco and the stuff going, and gets really high, and everybody comes over and gets high and has a good time. They're all kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and everybody's afraid to take any risks, to do anything, because they don't want to lose what they've got.
I'm the child of immigrants, so I am both very much of Canada and of this place and very enculturated, and at the same time have roots in this other culture that is really quite largely unknown. I'm in that kind of interesting position where I'm always looking for material that seems to be relevant to both places.
An earlier version of this play actually was set, where the novel was set, was Cairo, and it was 1964, I think. This version, everything's been updated to the present. A lot of the same themes, a lot of the same ideas, but much more accessible.
There was a lot of turbulence in the '60s. It was the Vietnam War era. It was the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was just as hot in the '60s as it is now. Now we have the war in Iraq. Back then we had the war in Vietnam. So the parallels are quite striking, actually.
How many of us know that the nation of Iraq was created by Britain in the 1920s? Yet, my experiences when I've worked in university classrooms and stuff is nobody knows that, but everybody knows the name of Aladdin's monkey, Abu.
Not to, regardless of where our plays are set, we want it to look like it's in Vancouver. So we never want to hide the fact that the story is being told from the point of view of people who live in Vancouver.
Our experience has been that the more we look to ensure that artists we work with do represent a variety of communities, and in kind of quotation marks, the better the work is, because it more accurately and deeply reflects the place that we live.
Vancouver Foundation has been key for many, many years to the survival, not only the survival, but the growth of many arts organizations in Vancouver. And Neworld Theatre has been blessed with the Vancouver Foundation's support.
Without funding, I don't think you would have very much theatre in Vancouver or Canada at all.
One of the first questions that the main character asks in the play is, what do you think of when someone says Egypt, the Middle East? And I think that the answer to that question most of us have is very natural. We think of the images that we see on television, the war car bomb images. My hope is that they come away with a slightly new or different picture.